You can feel a partner pulling away. The texts get shorter. The distance grows. Your immediate instinct is to double down. You send multiple messages. You try to initiate long conversations and do everything to close that gap. This panic leads to a state of over-functioning. You convince yourself that if you do not initiate contact or stop trying to resolve every fight, the connection will vanish. You assume 100% of the responsibility for the relationship's survival. When you act out of this fear, you signal that your stability is dependent on their approval. This dependency creates pressure for the other person, making them feel the need to move even further away to find space. Attraction requires a baseline of independence and mystery. By becoming a constant chasing presence, you remove the very space needed for that attraction to exist. Healthy attachment is built on equilibrium, with care distributed evenly. Toxic attachment develops when the scale breaks. As you increase effort to compensate for distance, your brain rewards you with a surge of attachment. You feel more in love simply because you've sacrificed so much. This creates a terrifying illusion. You believe that because you feel so much, the relationship must be worth saving, regardless of whether the other person is actually participating. The danger here isn't just the potential breakup. It is the invisible cost of the chase. Over time, prioritizing someone else's distance over your own dignity erodes your confidence and your sense of who you are outside of the relationship. You cannot talk your way out of a cycle driven by dependency. Sending another long explanation of your feelings only reinforces the pattern. The only way to disrupt the loop is to remove yourself from the equation. This is strategic detachment. It isn't about playing games or blocking someone to get a reaction. It is a systematic redirection of your attention away from the partner and back toward your own life. A client recently entered a session so anxious, she immediately set a ground rule. She was not there for breakup advice. She was desperate to save the connection and wanted a specific plan to make her boyfriend stop pulling away. The therapist gave her an unexpected requirement. For 15 days, they would not analyze the relationship at all. Instead, she had to follow a protocol focused entirely on her own daily routine and personal stability. During these 2 weeks, she re-engaged with friends she had been neglecting and returned to hobbies she had set aside. She forced herself to spend time in environments where she wasn't just the girl waiting for a text. This process isn't about ignoring the partner to be cruel. It is about remembering yourself so clearly that the partner's presence is no longer your only source of peace. While you are in the noise of the chase, your brain is in a state of high alert. You are scanning for cues and signs of rejection, which makes objective thinking impossible. But absence creates the room for clarity to return. When you stop the constant effort, the calling, the checking, the fixing, the emotional static begins to clear. The silence allows your nervous system to settle. In that silence, you stop romanticizing the struggle. You begin to look at the actual dynamics of the relationship as if you were an outside observer. Without your own effort masking the gaps, the partner's behavior stands on its own. You can finally see the lack of reciprocity and the specific ways the relationship has been draining you. By day 15, the client's perspective had evolved. She began to weigh her desire to save the relationship against the energy it was costing her to maintain it. By the third session, 30 days after starting the protocol, the shift was evident. The client realized the relationship was weighing heavily on her mental health. She saw she was fighting for someone, not fighting for her. She decided to end the relationship on her own terms. The decision wasn't an emotional outburst. It was a calm conclusion based on the clarity she had gained during her time away. The boyfriend, sensing her newfound distance, began to message and call her constantly. But because she had spent a month rebuilding her own life, she recognized this as a reaction to her absence, rather than a genuine change in his character. She chose to prioritize the peace she had built over the chaos of the old cycle. Breaking a toxic pattern doesn't usually require a final, perfect conversation. It requires the strength to break your own habit of over-investing in people who are not meeting you halfway. Emotional power in a relationship does not come from controlling how someone else feels about you. True stability comes from developing your life and self-worth to a point where a partner leaving is no longer a threat to your survival. Losing a partner is a painful but temporary setback. However, losing your identity while trying to save a failing relationship is a far more difficult loss to recover from. When you maintain your own baseline of self-respect, you ensure that you never truly lose anything you cannot survive without.